And we're back. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, change of plans. Originally, I was going to go through all of your requests for April Fools. That turned out to be impossible. I would probably lead to a 4-hour video that wasn't going to make nobody happy except the April Fool's gods. So instead, every week on Friday, I'll just go through a bunch of the requests until it's just a 50 or 20 minute video, and I keep it at that. So instead of April Fool's project, it's an April's month project, or possibly longer, I guess. Then I'll make less technical mistakes, say less stupid things, and you don't have to sit through hours of my voice in a row. Everyone happy except those who want me to shut up forever. Sorry. Those whose requests I'll talk about will be mentioned in the description, so you know if you can skip this video or not if you're not on the list. Past week I had the pleasure to negotiate and mingle with several angry mobs addressed at me, so I can use this relatively easy project to give myself some time to collect myself, learn my lessons, and figure out my next steps. So without further ado, this week's dissection requests I'm going through. These are general franchise themed. Scurvy Pirate Hawk, Star Wars Force Awakens. If you know it, it's got a lot of similarities with the very first Star Wars movie, Episode 4 New Hope, and basically is that a good thing, bad things, blah blah blah. Well, I'm pretty sure this discussion has been done a million times already, but here we go again. Force Awakens' first job was really to create a foundation for the future. So really, more than really tell a good story, more to lay out a new universe to build on, I guess. So yeah. Star Wars was in a really weird, unstable position, so it makes sense they wanted to focus on energy and characters and more simple joys than immediately trying new things. I don't know, for me, I think it's a little too obvious about it, and that makes it a little distracting, but in a weird way, I think it was necessary for them to do so. Doctor Who, in general, your thoughts on the show if you have seen it. Doctor Who, yes, I saw a few of the classic serials. As for the new series, I mostly saw the Matt Smith run. Man, I've been very close in making a parody of an old Doctor Who reunion movie they did, Four Doctors. So it's this big reunion adventure where the Doctor has to deal with such an evil force that he needs 4 versions of himself to take it down. So you get all kinds of action set pieces like, oh no, evil aliens guard the entrance. What clever and exciting thing will the Doctor do to defeat them? And then the aliens just randomly get distracted themselves and wander off. Like, oh. And, oh no, now the Doctor's trapped in a cave with a monster. How will he save the day? Like, oh wait, the cave he's trapped in just happens to be the place he needed to go anyway, so never mind. Like, oh no, now the Doctor's trapped in some kind of Indiana Jones death trap. Will he solve the mystery in order to stop the trap? Or is mortal Emily just randomly gives him the answer, so Doctor Who doesn't have to do anything at all again? Whoa, I broke a Doctor Who law there. The guy is not called Doctor Who, he's the third Doctor. I don't know, the first Doctor, but yeah. Sorry, it's a crime to call the guy actually Doctor Who. And then the big climax of the episode, oh no, the villain is now about to achieve immortality and then will be undefeatable. How will the Doctor stop him? And he doesn't. The villain succeeds and is now invincible. Oh no, immortality, it's his only weakness. And then the villain is stopped by not stopping him. He's just killed by being immortal. Yay, good job, Doctor, you saved the day with all your being there and observing all the problems resolving themselves. That's how all the old serials constantly feel to me. They write the Doctor to be a super awesome mystery solver, this cool Sherlock Holmes action guy, well, not really action, but, you know, thinking mystery guy, saving the day. But most of the time the writers just make him wander off screen and just make him do something while the supporting cast just farts around until the villains do something stupid and get themselves killed with the Doctor somehow taking credit for it or something. It feels so awkward. But then modern Doctor Who is a lot more fleshier and action-packed and less awkward, so more my cup of tea. Although now the show feels like it goes too far into the other direction, where the Doctor is so fast and smart and up to speed all the time that me as an audience member can barely keep up, and I constantly feel like I walked into the episode halfway through. So the actor is nice, Matt Smith. He's fun. I love the background music. It's a good show. The old show a little too slow, and the new show a little too fast for me, but no. And finally, Batman villains. Let me think. What makes you think what a good Batman villain is, and what's your favorite villains? I'm not much of a Batman guy. I guess I like the ones that are more of a moral or psychological problem more than a physical threat. So the Joker, pretty much easy choice. But yeah, Luke.
Favorite Batman villains. For me, it would be the Joker and the Scarecrow, as they have twisted themes on humour and fear. I also like how unpredictable the Joker can get, and how Scarecrow can create very scary scenarios with his fear gas.
Project 111141, and Danny the Wolf, and some others, I think. Undertale Dissected. Undertale. Spoiler, 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 spoil, spoil, run, die, spoil. Everyone will die. I mean, spoil. Spoil warning. It's my blood that will be spoiled over the floor when I don't spoil the spoil warning of the spoilers. Actually, I don't think I'll spoil anything about the game, but I'll put a spoiler warning here anyway, because Undertale fanbase terrifies me, and I had enough angry mobs to deal with this week. Undertale, I think the most clever thing about this game is how smart they use the mute character. A lot of RPGs have that silent protagonist thing going on, that you feel like you're the hero, but then they give you very little agency in the game itself, so it just feels dumb. But in Undertale, the whole culture around it is that you choose yourself, whether you save the world or kill everyone. In fact, a lot of people decided before playing the game, even though it's not officially the way you're supposed to do that. So now when the game characters are praising you or fearing you, it feels more personal. The consequences come directly from your personal choice. That is, you make the decisions on the fly, or deliberate choices outside the game or in the heat of the battle. It's not just the game literally giving you a be nice or be naughty option. Anyway, yeah, Undertale. I'm a little terrified about it, to be honest. Fanbase seems to be extremely literal-minded and on the nose of the proper interpretation of the story. And I'm usually very organically minded. I kind of like to explore possibilities and weirdness. And I don't think I really are allowed to room for that in this fanbase. Man, that poor Game Theory video, that got some heat. I mean, a lot of Sonic fans are exactly the same, have the same problem, but at least I've been in the Sonic universe for a long time enough, so I have a bit of a reputation, and I have enough knowledge that gives me enough elbow room to maneuver about scary fans. But with Undertale, I'm just a casual observer, so a full-on assault by an angry Undertale mob, I'll be trampled. I recently had an idea for a parody cartoon of Undertale, but I don't think I'll do it. Mostly because it was partly inspired by that Game Theory video, so for a final twist at the end. The main cartoon would be like a Groundhog Day scenario to have fun with the different endings and such. That the kid tries the peace routes, becomes leader of the world, but then it's reset back to the beginning, so he loses patience and starts killing all the boss monsters out of frustration, and then gets a genocide ending and is crowned ruling tyrant of the underground, but then everything resets again, so he becomes increasingly more desperate and randomly challenge all the boss monsters to a dance-off, and then suddenly the game turns into a dancing competition thing, and then he earns the Lord of the Dance route ending, but then it's reset again, so he tries sexy back rubs and video game competitions and spelling bees, impersonating Bill Murray and everything, and it just keeps resetting and resetting and resetting back to the beginning until he gives up and just decides to stay at Toriel's home to become a slacker and watch TV all day. And then, finally, the ending actually sticks, and the hero screams out in anger that it's the worst ending that actually ends up being canon. And he spent so much time sitting in the chair that he deteriorated into a skeleton, and now as an extra secret joke reveal ending twist, it's revealed it wasn't Frisk, or whatever this actual kid is called, but you were actually following Sans' origin story all along. But yeah, I discussed this idea with some Undertale fans, and they all warned me that in order for the parody to work, I had to play loose and fast with some of the lore of the Undertale game, and it'll probably piss everyone off. So yeah, this parody's cancelled. This is one of the reasons why I stick with Sonic so much. You really need to have some intense fan knowledge to understand your audience, know what elements you can and can't change, and have in-depth knowledge of every minute detail so you can save your ass in the many, 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 many angry debates that will follow. But yeah, Undertale is a game. It's awesome. I look at characters like Papyrus, a meme-spouting comedy figure, yet one with actual background, motivations, emotions, hopes, and dreams. See that, Sonic writers? Even when you're just joking around, giving characters depth still works. In fact, it just makes it better. So, Undertale, I approve of the game. I'm terrified of the fanbase, so there. Anthony, Easy2. How about how old nostalgia is new nostalgia? For example, Star Wars callbacks, Force Awakens, Power Rangers starting anew, and Sega shoving classic Sonic down our throats, of course. Well, it's because pop culture is exploding. Like in the past, There's only one big event, piece of pop culture every few months, only one big movie or one big piece of classic literature event appearing every so often. But then there's dozens of summer blockbusters and AAA games and TV shows and books coming out every single week. So in this increasing noise of new material, relying on pop culture when it still had a chance to even make an impact on us gives new projects a better chance of survival and for people to notice it, I guess.
The Chinese underground fur trade. Too dark? I went undercover for a fur exchange deal at the docks last week, and I agree, it was way too dark. It was hard to conduct business when you can't see much. I'm definitely for that illegal trade negotiations use more natural lighting. Also, being a fox myself, I was nearly turned into a pair of trousers.
Spicy Ghosts. I like to see dissected on a huge amount of popular indie games seem to have copy heavily inspired by older games aren't made anymore, like Freedom Planet, Aping Sonic, Undertale inspired by Earthbound, Yooka-Laylee is a successor to Banjo-Kazooie, so on. Does the success of those games rely on nostalgia, or does this mean nostalgia is incredibly manipulative? The thing is, the difference between gamers and game companies is that we gamers want the games we love to keep evolving naturally, to keep getting better. When you're a fan of a series, you don't just see the games as standalone titles, you see them as part of a continuation. Many Sonic games I just don't like them for just being, but also for what they promise in the future. But for companies don't think like that. Big game companies need a ton of money and fast, so instead of making games evolve naturally, sometimes they make more drastic and more desperate jumps in order to discover that new rabbits or Skylanders or some kind of easy gimmick trick to get in tons of new people all of a sudden. I think this movement of indie games taking over for old games is basically a counter movement to that jumpy and desperate attitude of the big companies. It's the gamers themselves stepping in and finally creating a genuine, real, natural, organic follow-up to the game they like, purely for the quality of the game itself and to keep it evolving, more so than just finding some sort of magical super game that makes tons of money. So it's more than just nostalgia. Most of those projects you named have created their own identity. Not so much literal nostalgia, but more as stepping back in time and letting these games have the more natural and smooth transition to the next evolution, to truly see what an actual follow-up to classic Sonic or Earthbound or Banjo-Kazooie is, that isn't a company desperately trying to a 3D Sonic Adventure or a sticker-based RPG or whatever the hell Rare's trying to do. Legendary Guardian. Hi Roger, I would really like to hear your opinion on modern cartoons like Adventure Adventure Time, Steven Universe, and Gravity Falls. Adventure Time, Steven Universe, I only saw a few episodes, not enough to have any complicated thoughts. They seem nice. Gravity Falls I watched entirely. Great show, I love it. Kind of interesting how in the first season they had less confidence in themselves. Usually whenever something scary or intense happened, they always had like Suze say something dumb to deflate a moment. Where in season 2 they weren't that concerned anymore and had a way more comfortable relation between the horror action and the comedy. Great show, great art, great characters. Love that it had a main story and stuck to that. Hey, it's clear it's a little clear they had a little too many things thrown up in the air, so that required a payoff. So the finale had a little too many little elements that all required a big revelation moment. So that almost feels kind of pointless sometimes. But then again, there was so much stuff going on in that final episode, I didn't mind it. It was a great conclusion. But yeah, Gravity Falls, awesome, fantastic show, I love it. Adventure Time looked nice, though it's a little too weird for me, for my taste. Steven Universe didn't leave much of an impression. I like the story concept, or like an episode where he tried to bring breakfast to his friends and then got stuck into some kind of adventure. And it's kind of the kind of plots I like, so it's a good plot. But again, it was a little too weird for my taste. I would definitely liked it as a kid, but right now I'm a little too busy to go follow every TV show that's going on. So from what I understand, the episode I watched was from before the main plot started, apparently. So fans of the show always tell me that the show doesn't really pick up until later. Oh well. Another topic with you boys. Here's only one. Talking about cartoon pilots that you guys believe would have had an amazing series for adults or children, huh? I haven't seen many TV show pilots that never led to an actual TV show. Only one for Bubsy, a weird Rayman show, and a Wacky Racers revival, and not really thought any of those would be amazing. At the moment, there's a SWAT Cats revival going on. I think they're working on a pilot right now. I helped with a Kickstarter for my girlfriend who loved the show. I don't know yet. Let's see how that pilot will end up like. Talk about anime and cartoon at the same time. Anime is cartoons from Japan, and everyone knows that it symbolizes the reality and attitudes changes how your character has, how you look at things, and exaggerated and ridiculous story and how and props. Hey Toma Cruises, it'd be nice to talk about how the YouTube community has impacted video games as a whole. Has it? I don't think it has, at least for AAA games. YouTube did create a new game genre, the "whoa, look at this crazy shit, let's play" flutter. A simple, cheap game is entirely designed for a PewDiePie or Markiplier to flip over. Anyway, thing is, YouTube and internet nerds combined have less power over the world than we like to think. Case in point, remember when the entire internet hated the Fine Bros? Perfect shitstorm, no mercy, entire internet united in anger. And when I checked the amount of page views their videos had recently and compared them with before the explosion of hate, I barely noticed any difference. At worst, they lost about 10%, and that's the perfect situation of the entire internet all together banding against you. It's just, if it's just a specific fan base and they're debating amongst each other, then there's even less impact on the real world. So I doubt we have all that much power in the real world. Yeah, although I do notice an increase in meme language in video games, which fortunately is on its way out again. I hope the Sonic staff got the memo. And that's it for this week. Next couple of requests are for next week's vlog, or whatever I'm supposed to call these things. Bye-bye.